Some buyers who are actually interested in this Skye at Holland after they have seen some of the new launches in the CCR that is selling very well today. Hi everyone, welcome to the new series Buy or Bye Bye, where I go through some of the new launches that is coming up in Singapore and give a review about it. So today I will be actually talking about Skye at Holland, which is a new launch that is coming in this weekend. So I'm very sure that actually some of the buyers are very interested in this development because some of the CCRs has been actually snapped up very quickly. So now we shall see for Skye at Holland whether it will be another sell out. So now let me go through some of the project information. So for Skye at Holland, it is co-developed by 4 developers: Capital Land, UOL, Singapore Land, and King Leong. So these are some of the renowned developers in Singapore. Skye at Holland is actually along the 2 and the 6 Holland Village Way, and it comprises of 666 units. So this development actually have 2 blocks of 40 stories, and it is a 99-year leasehold unit. And there is a 666 car park lots, and this is something that I actually like about this development, because for most of the new launch, you will realize that the car park lot is about maybe 60% to about 70%. So I would say this is one of the plus of this unit. So let me go through the unit mix. So this development comprises of 2 bedders, 3 bedders, and 4 bedders. So typically for 2 bedders, I will actually park it under the investment, and 3 and 4 bedders are actually for homestay units. So for this development, I would say that it's actually very healthy in terms of the investment to the homestay ratio, where it's about 55% is for investment and 45% is for homestay. So I would say that this is a very good unit mix over here. And one thing I like about this development is that it doesn't comprises of 1 bedder and 5 bedder, which I think the developers are actually very smart for not including it. So typically for 1 bedder, there is actually a very huge supply. Meanwhile, for 5 bedders, its quantum is actually kind of going to reach the landed property. So it will not be very easy to actually sell out these units. So now let's look at the location at the Skye at Holland. So Skye at Holland is actually about 8 minutes walk to the Holland Village Circle Line MRT. In terms of the amenities wise, you have a One Holland Village is right in front of you. It is a shopping mall which is actually very pet friendly, and there are some of the very nice food over there like hot pot, and there's also like shop houses over there as well. Next, we have the Holland Village Market, where you also have, I would say, like cheap alternative food over there in terms of the price wise. And at the same time, like along like across the another road, you will have the Holland Road shopping center as well. For Skye at Holland, I would say there is 2 premium facing in this development. So one of the better facing will be facing the GCB, which you'll see over here. It's a very nice view, but one thing you need to take note is actually there is a west sun over here. The next premium facing I would say is actually facing the Holland Village Shopping Center. It's actually pretty low rise. Facings that I will not really recommend is the HDB cluster over here. This is actually like a new 40-story BTOs that is actually coming up about maybe 3 to 4 years time. So I would say that if you actually buy this facing, you will actually get a block view. So next I will actually go through the schools, and for Skye at Holland, it's actually not 1 kilometer or even 2 kilometer within the vicinity. And this, I would say, will create some of the friction and concerns when you actually want to exit this property. If you are trying to actually invest in a 3 and 4 bedder, some of the families who are looking to actually have their kids to put in a primary school will not actually consider this area over here. So next, I'll actually be going through the competitions around Skye at Holland. So actually you can see that it's actually surrounded by some of the freehold properties over here. We have the Devot, Van Holland, Wilmer Park, and the Marasaga. But one thing to note about all these freehold properties is that actually it has about 100 units or less over this area. And I would say in terms of the nearest competition wise will be One Holland Village Residences, which is a 99-year leasehold. We have 296 units by TOP at 2024. So meanwhile for Skye at Holland, it's 666 unit and it's a mega development which is going to TOP at 2029. So in terms of the transactions, I would say there will be actually more if you expect in the Skye at Holland, but I mean this is something that you need to take account in terms of your exitability, since there are some like condos over here that is a freehold, and facing over the other side is also a GCB which is a freehold. So typically I would say that for people who actually like to stay around this Holland village, they actually prefer freehold properties. So now I will actually be going through some of the floor plans that I will think will be very attractive to the buyers, and I believe it will be the ones that will be stand out very quickly. So now we will be looking at the 2-bedder premium plus study. This is a 732 square feet. One thing I like about this floor plan is the kitchen is enclosable. Next thing is for the bedroom wise, this is a Jack and Jill layout. In terms of the master bedroom, it has a flexi study room. So for this flexi study room, actually pretty good in a way where, let's say if you want to use it for your own work from home arrangement, one thing you can do is you can actually switch this study room into a walk-in wardrobe. So one thing I don't like about this layout is actually there is no windows in the bathroom. So if there is no windows in the bathroom will be getting moldy very quickly. And one thing I'd like to point you out is for the aircon latch, it is non-strata, so it means that it's actually not part of the floor plan. But overall, I think that this is a very efficient unit. So now we have the side-by-side floor plans for Skye at Holland and One Holland Village. So on paper wise, you can tell that Skye at Holland looks smaller, 678 square feet. Meanwhile, for One Holland Village residences is at 797 square feet. So one thing that you need to note about the One Holland Village residences is, firstly, the balcony is actually a lot bigger. They have the aircon latch over here that is actually counted in the GFA as well. At the same time, the kitchen is actually not enclosable. So next, a 3-bed, 3-bath, 1076 square feet. So one thing I like about this layout is that it has the dry and wet kitchen with a yard. So why is this important for upcoming HDB upgraders? They are actually used to having a yard. So coming to a floor plan that has a yard is very beneficial for them. And of course, it has the home shelter over here. We have this powder room over here right beside the yard. So this is the toilet that actually will be used for your guests. There is this square-shaped living room which you actually can put an L-shaped sofa. In terms of the layout wise, I would say it's pretty efficient. All the bedroom actually can fit a queen-size bed. So now we have the side-by-side comparison of Skye at Holland and One Holland Village residences. So on paper wise, the square feet is about the same. Skye at Holland is at 1076 square feet and One Holland Village residences is at 1098 square feet. But in terms of the floor plan, you will realize that actually for the Skye at Holland, it has actually that area where you can put in the dry and wet kitchen. Meanwhile, for One Holland Village residences, the kitchen wise is actually pretty small. The reason why I would say the kitchen is actually pretty small is because, firstly, the aircon ledges is actually counted inside the GFA, and the balcony is actually a lot bigger. So now we actually understand that for Skye at Holland, in terms of the floor plan wise, it's actually more efficient than One Holland Village residences. But we actually need to see in terms of the price whether it actually makes sense to enter. So at the time of recording, Skye at Holland is actually going to be launching at 2,600 PSF. But I'll say in terms of the average PSF wise, in terms of the 3-bedroom, we should be looking at about 2008 to 2009 PSF. And next, I would like to actually introduce you the Lease Reset Calculator, which I use it to compare the new launch and the resale market for the One Holland Village residences. Currently, it's actually launching at $3.5 million at a 3,187 PSF. So actually, what if I actually reset it back to 99 years? How much is actually worth? So after using the Lease Reset Calculator, it's actually around the 3,635 PSF and the quantum is around $4 million. I would say that in terms of entering into the Skye by Holland, if you are actually entering below the 3,600 PSF, I would say that it's actually a very safe buy. So this is actually a summary of why I would actually like to buy Skye by Holland. One is the very efficient layout as compared to the One Holland Village residences, which is right beside it. It is a high rise and a high volume at the Holland Village vicinity, which is also very rare. At the same time, it has a very good mix of the homestay and the investment units. This is actually important in terms of your exit strategy. So now, lastly, why would I actually not recommend Skye by Holland? It's actually, firstly, it is a 99-year leasehold property around the Freehold cluster. I would say that in terms of the Holland Village cluster, I feel that actually most people are actually looking for the freehold status. So in terms of the 99 years leasehold, there will be some issues in terms of your exit audience. And next is there is a lack of primary school within the 1 to 2 kilometers radius. And lastly, for the GCB facing side, it actually faces the west sun, and also some of the facings is actually facing the high-rise HDB, which is, I would say, not ideal. So now we have actually come to the end of the video. So I would say in terms of the Skye by Holland wise, quantum wise is very good, but I would say it only suits maybe a group of investors over here. If you're actually very interested in Skye by Holland, ring me up, have a one-to-one consultation with me, and actually I will address whether this development is actually suitable for you. If you like such content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.